Well, welcome to InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw. Just in time for the annual Cherry Blossom Day celebration at the state capitol, we have cherry blossoms blooming. Yes, and this is something that we've looked forward to every year, and boy, do Oregonians love this celebration. But how did it get started? Why are we called the Cherry City? There's a fascinating history behind Cherry Blossom Day, and here to talk with me to talk about all things cherry blossom is Stacy Nalley. She is the outreach coordinator for the State Capitol Visitors Services Center. And after that mouthful, welcome.
Thank you.
I have been so excited about this because, full disclosure, I love Cherry Blossom Day.
I do too. It's one of my most favorite events every year.
But why is it such a integral part of Oregon history and Salem's history in particular? It goes way back.
It does. In fact, from what I can tell from records, 1903, Salem hosted its first Cherry Festival.
Oh.
And then there was a group that formed, I'm going to say 1913, the Cherryans, which officially disbanded in 1968. So they had more than a 50-year history, cherry blossom festivals, parades. They would it was called King Being, so they would crown King Being and Queen Anne, which are both cherry varieties. And so, yeah, Salem has a huge history as far as the cherry industry, cherry blossoms go, and I'm excited to talk to you about it today.
One of the things that impressed me is just how close the Japanese American community is here. And in 1986, Salem became a sister city.
That's right. So Salem became a sister city before Oregon became a sister state, which is very interesting to know.
Oh.
But Salem-Kawagoa sister city relationship started in 1986, and they're very strong. They also are a huge community presence, and they have been integral to Cherry Blossom Day at the Capitol since it started in 2015. They've been a partner all 10 years and have helped us grow this event. So.
Well, in 2017, there was an emergency passage of a law, and I find that interesting, designating the third Saturday of every March.
That's correct.
As Cherry Blossom Day.
That's right.
Why did it take emergency legislation to get that passed?
It's always interesting, the declaration of an emergency just means it's able to kind of speed its way through the legislative process. As you know, once a bill is introduced, it goes through committee. It has to be voted through both chambers. Sometimes that could take months. We wanted to fast track that legislation, so when it passed, we were able to utilize it that year. So it was introduced during a long session year, 2017. When it went through, it dropped in February. We wanted it in hand by March, and so it was an emergency declaration.
Yay.
Yep.
What makes cherry blossoms so important to Japanese culture?
Well, that goes back since time immemorial for the reverence of the Japanese and the sakura, cherry blossom. It's very interesting that the sakura plays such a huge part in their culture. So you will find it in art, you will see it in poetry, in song. It is something that will be embroidered on their kimono. So it plays a huge part. They have reverence for the blossom and link it really to mortality. It comes, annually. They will say that it bursts forward, brings forward a lot of life and beauty, but is there for a short period of time and then has a quick death. And so they tie that with life. And so spring, life, it's all part of their cultural celebration, and they have a lot of tradition around it.
What are the traditions that we use in Cherry Blossom Day?
Yeah, so we like to put a call out for Hanami, which is cherry blossom viewing you're going to go and sit under the cherry trees. So a lot of times we will put that out in our marketing for Cherry Blossom Day. Come and practice Hanami. Bring a picnic, bring a blanket, sit under the trees, enjoy the bloom, and just watch. It's part of the ambiance, it's part of being one with nature, and just enjoying what is there in front of you at that moment.
You did an interview with someone, a friend of yours, that
Yes.
explained more about
That's
Hanami.
right, yes, and that's Mika Yamanaka. Mika is an amazing woman here in Salem. She works at the Grand Hotel. She is a taiko drummer. She is a
Ooh.
Japanese immigrant. And she has brought forth so much to our Cherry Blossom Day at the Capitol. I did take some time out a couple of years ago when we weren't able to have the event in person because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And we just sat and had a great 20-minute conversation under the cherry trees. She was able to bring bento and talk about the tradition of having a picnic under the trees. We unfurled a blanket on the grass.
And then I just made like a one, like usually we have like a 3, 4, 5 of them with this. And then because it's a big party, and then whole family get together, grandma, grandpa, kids, and then kids' friend. So the whole like a park, like, you know, big 10 by 10 size of place will be packed with people, and then the bento box. So this is what I have.
This is
It's
exciting.
kinda-
Look at this.
Kind of like typical bento box, which has like onigiri, which is a rice balls, and then fried chicken. Don't miss that. And then eggs, and then broccoli, and then some cucumber wrapped with sandwich ham. That's what I kind of did today. But yeah, so
Well, it
this
looks
is
so
very
beautiful.
Yeah, and it smells good, huh?
It smells very good.
It's real. We are very much into like a cherry blossom calendar.
Yeah.
And then that's our things in the
So
spring.
from the south, because it's warmer in the south, and so
Exactly.
they emerge with the heat
Right.
and
Yeah.
then go up to the north.
Yeah.
That's
But
interesting.
14 days, yes, it's very short. I think that's something about the Japanese culture, like, you know, short and then beautiful. I think it's something about Buddhism, or I'm not sure where that coming from. But the very much Japanese culture that very short but blooms so beautiful, and then you better enjoy it right now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Be present in the moment.
Yes, exactly.
And
Yeah.
enjoy what you have right in front of your
That's it.
eyes. Yeah.
I love that. Gazing, just gazing and
Yep.
enjoying. And part of a wonderful and long tradition in
Yes.
Japan and now here.
Yes. And we don't do it often enough. Just take that time to connect with nature. So I love that observance.
You know, there is a national Cherry Blossom Day.
There is.
And at the U.S. Capitol, which also has a lot of cherry trees. How did it get started?
So the cherry trees in Washington, D.C. were actually a gift from Japan. They have thousands of trees within the tidal basin, and they've revered the cherry blossom for a very long time. Huge festival, parade, songs. In fact, I actually got online and watched some of the parade, and it's incredible what they're able to do in Washington, D.C. Now, ours is not nearly as large. Our event is 4 hours long, but a lot of what we have done on the Capitol Mall has been taken from Washington, D.C., and a lot of people don't know that history. But originally, our Capitol sat and opened to the west, to the Willamette River. And then we lost that Capitol in a fire in 1935. And when they rebuilt our current Capitol building in 1937, it was open to the public in 1938. The doors opened north, and that was because the building was larger, but they also knew government was expanding, and they wanted to create a Capitol Mall that was a lot like the Capitol Mall in Washington, D.C. So they purchased the land north of that and created that mall area. Now we have the State Library, Bureau of Labor and Industry, ODOT, the Public Services Building, all align the mall. We have that wonderful park to the north. And in the early 90s, they needed to create a parking garage underneath that park. And so they dug out the park. They made like a 3-level parking garage under that. And when they put the park back together, they lined it with more than 150 blossoming cherry trees. That variety is the Accabono cherry tree. In fact, I found there was more than 1,000 varieties of cherry tree. Like,
oh my.
Yes, more than 600 blossoming varieties and like more than 400 fruiting varieties. So there's a lot of different
And some of
cherry
them can
trees.
even grow 80 feet tall.
Yeah, and
Not
then
the
the
ones on
colors
the
of
Capitol Mall,
blooms,
but-
you know, vary from white to dark pink.
Yeah.
We have a light pink variety, the Accabono. But yeah, more than 150 planted on the mall. Amazing. Absolutely beautiful. A lot of people question or ask if those were a gift from Japan, and they were not. They came from J. Frank Schmidt Nursery out of Boring, Oregon, which is a wholesale nursery. So they were grown and raised right here in Oregon and then came to the Capitol Mall. And then we do have parks who manage and landscape the park. And then they have kept their eye on the health of the trees. We had to cut a couple of down and remove a couple of damaged trees, but they are replanting them. And so that's going to be part of that ongoing maintenance that we have with those trees on the mall.
Tell us what we can expect. What's in store for Cherry Blossom Day this year?
Well, this year we kick off at 11 a.m., which is an hour later than we normally do. And that's because we're going to be in the mall only, and we're not hosting inside the building at all. That is because we're under a large-scale construction project, as some people may or may not know. So the historic building is not able to be entered in at this time. At 11 a.m., Monmouth Taiko starts in the mall, and when that group performs, they are an attention grabber. So usually all eyes on them. They will be drumming, they have some chants that they do, and they really get the crowd all ramped up and ready. Then we have, I'm going to say about 25 tables from different nonprofit organizations that are bringing activities into the mall. These are free, they're family friendly, they're fun. So I say a family, come on down, check it out, go table to table, see what activities, whether it is how fast you can pick up beans and put them in little cups with chopsticks, to making a Salem flag, which Salem Kawagoa Sister Cities is going to be offering. Just a couple of years ago, Salem got a new flag. That flag has a sakura, cherry blossom, prominently displayed on it, which is amazing. So that's going to be one of the activities as well. Salem's Mayor, Chris Hoy, will be there doing a Cherry Blossom Day proclamation and then gifting a flag to the Japanese Consul General on behalf of the city of Salem. So between that, musical performances, a kimono fashion show, and we have a singing performance, we have a martial arts demonstration. So just activities will be going until 3 o'clock on the mall, and we will have a Japanese bakery there selling some baked goods, which we're excited about. And then we're just, a couple hundred feet from the Saturday market. So I tell people, make a day out of it. Get up, get to that market early, get all your, beautiful things that you want from the vendors, and then come on over and enjoy some activity and performances on the mall.
Tell me about the nighttime ceremony.
A couple of years ago, one of the park rangers brought forward the idea of hosting a Yazakura. Yazakura, which is the nighttime viewing of cherry blossoms.
Ooh.
That first year, we put some twinkle lights in the trees really towards the Capitol, and then maybe 30 or 40 Japanese lanterns got hung in the tree. And we had a call to action, come on out, bring your picnic, unfurl, enjoy this nighttime viewing of the cherry blossoms. People came out, hundreds of people came out. And we were like, what is, I can't believe it. Well, first of all, the weather was beautiful on that first year. So on the second year, we made it longer. And we had more lights, we had more lanterns. And again, the visitorship in the mall was just ongoing through those couple of weeks. This year, the night of Cherry Blossom Day, which is March 16th, the lights will come on in the trees. This year we have probably 500 lights in the trees, more than 500 lanterns to be hung in the trees. It will encapsulate all of the trees up and down the mall from the south side towards the building all the way to the north. And it will go until April 6th. So the lights come on around 6 p.m. They'll stay on until 10 p.m. There's no reason for people to rush. They can just take their time, enjoy, walk, bring a picnic. 2 Saturdays of the Yazakura, we have activities that will be happening in the evening. On March 23rd, there will be a photography group out there showing you how to do nighttime photography of the blossoms or use your macro lens to get an up-close view. And then on the 30th, we have a koto and a cello player who will be out there at 7 p.m. and they will be performing for an hour under the trees. And so you'll be able to just have this amazing ambience and view. So it's a fantastic event.
It certainly is. Do you have any fond memories of Cherry Blossom Day past that just stay with you?
You know, I do. 2015 was our first year, so this year we're celebrating the 10th year of bringing back a cherry blossom festival to Salem. That in itself is great. The reason why we did is we had a new program about 12 years ago that got started at the Capitol called the Capitol History Gateway Program.
Yes.
Through that program, we wanted to open the building again on a Saturday. It had been closed on the weekend for a number of years, and we realized not everybody that wants to visit can come Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. So how do we open the building and entice the public to come and see the People's Building? So we looked and we thought about events that would correlate with our mission and with celebration, and the Cherry Blossom Day was one of them. So the state birthday is one, we have a bounty event, but in looking at that, we really started rolling these events out in 2015, and Cherry Blossom Day has just grown from there. Having a kimono contest in the rotunda where the call was anybody could get dressed and show off their dress. They came down the grand staircase, they would walk around the seal, and then it was audience vote. They all had numbers pinned to them. That's one of my favorite because I was able to see little people and big people, and it didn't matter nationality, gender, everyone was just having a wonderful time. And then last year, we ended the event with something called a bone dance. And it was open to participation. And so there's a huge circle of people in their traditional dress, and they just went and grabbed people from the crowd and taught them how to do the dance. And so we have a crowd of probably 200 people in a circle doing this dance. And I think for me, that is the full circle of this event and how we started and now how the public just comes out and embraces it and has fun at an amazing event. So I'm really excited to be a part of it.
How can people learn more?
They can jump on to OregonCapital.com and go right to our event calendar, and they can see what kind of events and exhibits that we have going on. And then right there's a contact form. If they have any questions, they just click on it and submit a question to us, and we'll answer either via email or call them up and then give them more information about what's happening at their capital.
Stacy, this has been fascinating. So much of this people don't know and I didn't know. So I really appreciate your embracing history this way and the cherry blossom's amazing role in our culture here, right here in Salem.
That's right. Thank you for having me, Wendy.
Well, I hope you have an opportunity to go and enjoy Cherry Blossom Day. This has been InSight. I hope you enjoy yourselves. I'm Wendy Brokaw. We will leave you with a glimpse of Cherry Blossom Day past.
This instrument is called koto, K-O-T-O. It's a pretty old instrument in Japan and one of the traditional musical instruments.
How does it work?
It has 13 strings on the top of the hollow Polonia wood. Polonia is not the general wood over here, but it's very, very popular wood. And it's a hollow wood, like 6 feet long, and the strings on the top, and the bridges in between. And the bridges are movable. And also, I use the left hand to raise the pitch. And the music I play is mostly tuned with the pentatonic scale. but by moving, by pressing the string. Something like that. So it's a lot of potential and capability this instrument has. I am going to play the Sakura Sakura, the most popular piece arranged into koto, and it's a really pretty song.